2022, and today's date is August 30th, 2016. We're taking a look this week at Proverbs 4, and at the close of our last study, I mentioned Deuteronomy 30, 19 to 20. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love Jehovah thy God, that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him. For he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Jehovah sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. And I made the point that the idea of life, which is Strong's number 24:16, is also found in Proverbs 4:13b, where it says, "For she," or that is instruction, like wisdom, "for she is thy life." And we noted the progression of the verbs in Deuteronomy 30, 19 to 20, love, obey, cleave, and dwell in the land. And this idea of dwelling in the land also comes up in Hebrews 11. I'll read verses 9 through 16 because it's such a beautiful promise, not only to the patriarchs in the first instance, but really to all believers throughout time, all of the elect. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of that country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he hath prepared for them a city. Ultimately, this is what is in view for every believer that has ever lived. And those who are alive today yearn for that glorious release which happens at death, or for those who will experience the resurrection of their bodies on the very last day. This is why a passage like Romans 8, 17 to 25 is so relevant for those of us whom God has ordained to be alive at this time in history during the day of judgment, as it touches upon a number of factors, that is Romans 8, that the elect are currently exposed to, namely suffering or testing, waiting, groaning, hoping, and patiently waiting. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature or creation waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature or creation was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doth he yet hope for? But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it. We wait, but also we also recognize that God also waited, particularly during the day of salvation, during the last 17 years of the great tribulation of our day, as we read in James 5, 7 through 11. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman, this would be God, waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and hath long patience for it, until he receive the early, which would be the Pentecostal rain. The latter rain is that which I just mentioned in our day. Be ye also patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. Take, my brethren, the prophets, who have spoken in the name of the Lord, for an example of suffering, affliction, and patience. Behold, we count them happy which endure. Ye have heard of the patience of Job, and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy.